Hi everyone, my name is Cassidy Cross, and for my historical analysis, I chose the artwork Primavera. The image shown to the right is a full image of the painting Primavera, and this painting was created by an artist named Alessandro Filipepe, also known as Botticelli, which is how I'll be referring to him throughout the presentation. That was a nickname given to him, which means little barrel. Was given to him by his older brother. And Botticelli was a painter of sculptural figures and an outstanding portraitist. And like many artists of his time, he modeled his figures by using light from a constant source. And he also was known to mimic slow movements of 15th century dance, which kind of can be seen in the painting Primavera. Like I said, he created this painting, and it's called Primavera, which also means spring. And he painted it in 1482 in Italy. I personally think the commissioning patron is significant because it was commissioned by the Medici family during the time of the wedding of Lorenzo de' Medici and his new wife. And the theme of Primavera suggests love and fertility, which can be interpreted as a similar wish for a similar outcome in their wedding. As he was actually working for the Medici family, painting these mythological artworks, he was affected by a spiritual crisis where he burned many of his earlier paintings, and he started creating more emotional pictures involving an intense religious outlook. Most artists and other critics agree that Primavera is a highly complex allegory. An allegory is defined as a symbolic illustration or a concept, and the book goes into detail explaining that this piece of artwork is an allegory because it combines Neoplatonic ideas with esoteric references to classical sources. I believe that this artwork exhibits a high degree of technical, compositional, and conceptual skill because of the many details the artist used to tell a story and to create a theme. And I also believe it's a very effective piece of artwork because the identities of the figures shown in the painting are very well known, which also helps to tell the story that he was trying to get by. As for the focus, I think the focus of this work is the Roman goddess Venus, who in the full image is shown slightly off-center, but this is a close-up image of her. Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, desire, prosperity, fertility, and victory, among a few other things. And as you can see here, she is crowned with what is known as a marriage wreath. Behind her son, Cupid, can be seen, and he is blindfolded, aiming his arrow at the three graces, which I will go into more detail about later on in the presentation. The next part of the painting, which really caught my eye that I wanted to talk about, was the group of three to the right of Venus. This section of the painting actually tells a story. So as you can see, there are three people, the man in the corner being Zephyrius, which is the west wind, and he is holding on to the virgin nymph Chloris, who can be identified as the roses, with the roses coming out of her mouth. The story here is that Zephyrius makes Chloris his bride, which then transforms her into the goddess Flora, who is at the very left of this close-up image. She is dressed to personify spring and is scattering flowers that are contained in the fold of her dress at the level of her womb, which is meant to symbolize fertility. The next section of this painting shows the three graces, which in the full image are found to the left of Venus. The three graces are said to be the daughters of Zeus or Hera, although there is a lot of speculation about whether or not that is true. They symbolize ideal female virtues, which are listed here on the PowerPoint, but I'm going to go ahead and list them. They are chastity, beauty, and love. And earlier, like I said, Cupid, who was above Venus, was aiming his arrow at the three Graces. And the final part of the artwork is the man found to the very left. This is Mercury, and Mercury is known to be the god of merchants, travelers, thieves, and tricksters. And he is incorporated into this painting by Botticelli because Mercury was actually the sign of the month of May when the two were thought to be married. If you look closely, you can see that he is holding a staff. It's kind of hard to see in this image, but he is holding a staff which is wound with serpents, and this symbolizes the medical profession. Now, this is important to the overall theme because it corresponds to the commissioning patron Medici, Medici meaning doctors. So some say that both the presence of Venus and Mercury could be an astrological reference. Personally, overall, I think Botticelli does a great job at using these figures to tell a story. I think he also was very clever in the figures that he picked. As I said before, he was painting many mythological artworks for the Medici family, and by using these Roman goddesses, I think that it really helped to create the theme for the wedding gift. And this is my Works Cited. Thank you all for listening.